All right, what's up everybody? This is my third video. This is roughly 2 months on Accutane now to attempt to treat folliculitis decalvans. It's a rare form of acne, basically chronic inflammation of the scalp, the hair follicles in the scalp. So that's what I'm going through. If you're watching this video, you're either curious about my side effects, about Accutane, about folliculitis decalvans, and what happens to me during this treatment. So again, 60 days in. If you watched my last video, I had dry skin, dry lips, very minor joint pain, but for the most part, not too bad. So 60 days in, it's a lot of the same. I still have dry skin, so I use moisturizer every single day, everywhere all over my body. I actually did that before Accutane, so nothing really new for me there. So every day moisturize, make sure your skin is moist, and get the right lotion for that. Definitely gonna need a lot of chapstick. Lips are very dry, they chap and peel easily. So chapstick is probably going to be a necessity of yours if you end up using Accutane. That's really it for physical. I mean, I actually went to the beach roughly a week or so ago. That was my first time since being on Accutane. And before Accutane, I never used sunscreen. I'm naturally a little bit tanner. But I used sunscreen this time, an SPF 30. And I was fine. I had a few little areas where maybe I didn't apply enough sunscreen and it was a little irritated and itchy. But honestly, it wasn't bad. SPF 30 was fine for me. I had no issues. I was in the sun for a few hours. So that felt good. Internally, if you watched the last video, again, minor joint pain and one of my liver enzymes really spiked. As far as the joint pain is concerned, again, very minor. Lifting really heavy weight is a little uncomfortable. I'd say if you're somebody who likes to really lift heavy in the gym, if you're going on Accutane, I'd say the chances of that happening or sustaining throughout the whole Accutane treatment is unlikely. So I've had to lower the weight a little bit, only because it's very uncomfortable. I feel a little stiff and it's just not worth a potential injury. But other than that, I'm still going 4 or 5 days a week, trying to maintain my level of fitness best I can. And for the most part, I'm able to do so. My liver enzyme, since the last check-in a month ago, has dropped. It's still elevated, but it has dropped. And the only major difference I've really implemented in my lifestyle is I've stopped taking a pre-workout supplement, and I switched over to a new supplement that I take before I work out. It's called Beet Elite. It's basically just powdered beets. It's beet powder. It's a very high in nitrates, and it's good for before exercise. Other than that, that's it. There's no other stimulants, anything else, any of the crazy pre-workout stuff. So that switching over to that Beet Elite has lowered that enzyme pretty significantly, and it's still a little elevated, but it's gone down, which is a positive. So that's really it for internally. Other than that, I've had no issues. 60 days in so far, I think it's going great. I don't have acne anywhere on my head. Before I started Accutane, it was really all over the place towards the back and up top. And I wasn't even able to get a haircut. It was so painful everywhere that just touching my head was so painful. So I couldn't even get a haircut before. Now I can get a haircut. No breakouts. So far, so good. Let's see, the fingertips I mentioned as well in the last video, my fingertips were peeling. That has stopped, so my hands are normal now, no longer peeling. So that's a good thing. And yeah, I've maintained the same weight. roughly 202, 203 pounds. I just can't lift heavy weights like I could before because it's a little uncomfortable. But other than that, I really have no major side effects. Nothing new has come up, and my liver enzymes are doing better. So far so good. Like I mentioned in the previous video, I'm alternating between 120 milligrams and 80 milligrams every other day. So one day 120, next day 80, 120, then 80, and vice versa. So that's going through the whole duration of the Accutane treatment. I may taper down towards the end of the treatment. We'll see how that, what happens in May or June, whenever it is. But right now, that's my current dose. A couple of other things, this on Folliculitis Decalvans, it's very rare. Some doctors, based on my own research, some doctors seem to believe it's an autoimmune disease. Some doctors suggest that there's not enough evidence to support that. I haven't really talked to my doctor about it, if it is or not. Ultimately, she thinks that this is the right treatment for me, and we're going to see what happens. I did speak personally to an individual that had the same condition I have, or same disease I have, and he was on Accutane for 11 months. And his head looked pretty bad before, like as far as alopecia is concerned and breakouts is concerned. So he was on Accutane for 11 months, and his treatment ended roughly the end of 2020, maybe the fall of 2020, and he has yet to go back on Accutane since. So that's, almost a year and a half since he ended his Accutane treatment, and he says his symptoms have reduced by probably 90%, which is a huge win for him. He says his breakouts, if he does get them, are very, very minor, and they're nothing like they were before Accutane. So, that gives me a little bit of hope that maybe this will work. Maybe I won't need Accutane ever again after my treatment's over. Who knows? There's some people out there that have to take Accutane for the rest of their life at a low dose. Maybe that's gonna be me. I don't know. But ultimately, this one individual that I did talk to, he said Accutane worked for him. He has yet to use it ever again. So, and that's a year and a half later. So again, that gives me a little hope. If you have the same condition, hopefully that gives you a little bit of hope. We'll see what happens. But so far, it's working. It was really bad before. I am going to upload just a few pictures of what my head looked like on day one. So this is day one of Accutane, just started. Basically hasn't even kicked in yet. So you can see what it looked like, how bad it was before Accutane started to clear things up. So that'll kind of shed some light on this, and you can see, how terrible this disease is, and how it affects, people's lives. So hopefully, again, I really want this video to have some kind of impact on your decision making, on your life. Hopefully this will lead you in the right direction to help you. But so far so good. I really don't have any complaints. I'm doing the best I can to maintain a healthy lifestyle, exercising, eating right, drinking a lot of water, like I mentioned in the last video. All these things add up. Give your body what it needs. I still have not drank any alcohol since I've started Accutane. That's probably the way to go if you are using this, just because it is, a little heavy on the liver. But again, so far so good. I will be making another video next month. That will be in mid-February-ish. And I'll let you know if anything changes, how things are going. And again, maybe answer any questions you guys have in the comments. I'll gladly answer those for you. I will update, photos of myself at the very end of the Accutane treatment. So at the very end, you can see how much better it's gotten, hopefully, when the treatment's over. Some of my bald spots have already filled in a little bit since day one. Some are still there. But again, hopefully more will fill in as time goes on. I'm sure there's some permanent scarring, but you know, it is what it is. It comes with the disease, unfortunately. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. And if you're following, you know, my Accutane treatment journey, I'll see you in roughly 30 days. Thanks, guys. Take care.